back to The Anxious Creative. I'm your host, Dawn Bradley, and I am an anxious creative. This week, I have got a fun episode for you with a very special guest. I have been watching this hairstylist from afar for years, totally having that. And I say this in this podcast, I've had like this, like, I'm probably not cool enough to hang out with her kind of feel. So I've like watched her from afar, creeped on her, connected with her a little bit, but I'm like, oh, she's so cool. And you know that like feeling of like, I'm probably going to be like a total loser. And like this whole negative talk about like, I've just like had a style crush on her. She's a kick-ass hairstylist. She's an educator. And I'm so excited for you to get connected with her today. Finally, I have her on the podcast. We connected. We're kindred spirits. Oh my gosh. And her story is amazing. So if you relate to being an anxious creative and whether you're in or not in the hair industry, you're going to get so much out of this podcast. So buckle up, friend. Let's get ready for a wild ride with Mish Jolie. I overthink, I overshare, and I overanalyze. So come explore with me as I chat about business, life, and relationships, all through the lens of an anxious creative. Hello and welcome back to The Anxious Creative. You guys, I'm so excited to have Mish Jolie on the podcast. Welcome to The Anxious Creative.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you. I feel like we've been like off and on connecting for a couple years, but like haven't fully, well, Clubhouse we kind of did.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've been like watching you from afar and kind of creeping and kind of feeling like, I don't know if you've ever had this feeling where I'm like, I don't think I'm cool enough to be her friend.
That's how I feel about you. Exactly.
That's how I feel about you.
Literally, I do the same thing with you. I'm just like, what is she doing? What is she up to? And I'm like seeing all your like new branding stuff. And I'm like, oh, she's killing it right now. But like, we need to just like hang more, like virtually hang.
I know. I was going to say like, we're on opposite ends of the continent, basically, right?
Yeah.
Connecticut's on the east, right?
Yeah. I'm actually really jealous right now because we just had daylight savings. So now it's like even more. Like you guys you're 3 hours?
No, we had daylight savings too.
Oh, so wait, you're 2 hours.
Yeah, it's 2:12 here. You guys are witnessing in real time me and Mish's ADD going in full fledged.
It's already started, but I'm jealous because like you have 2 extra hours in your day and I'm already feeling like I'm going to bed in like soon.
Oh yeah. But then I'm always jealous of East Coast people because when I wake up, I'm like, oh, they've already got like their day started.
Oh, not me.
No. All right. For those people that are listening in and enjoying this already, tell everyone a little bit about you and what you're about and where you're from. And I was going to go into a Backstreet Boys song. Who you are, where you're from.
So I'm Mish Jolie. I am a hairstylist. I am a salon owner. I am an educator. And I do that all on my own. I like to say indie. I'm an indie educator. And just recently I've added on coach. So I've been doing coaching, and I like to say, I was just talking about this with Don. I like to say spiritual stylist because I'm super woo woo. I'm really into crystals, manifestation, self-love, all that stuff. And basically that's who I am. I'm from Connecticut. And actually we just opened, my partner is Meg Moran. You probably know her on Instagram as Mega Hair Maniac. We own our salon together. And we both are educators. So, hi.
I love that. So, tell me more about this spiritual hairstylist side of things. What, like you're saying, crystals, self-love. How did this evolve?
So, this has been a long time coming for me. So, ever since I was even like a teenager or whatever, I've been really into just like the magical side of things. I love I'm a Pisces. Okay. I don't know what you are. I know
Taurus.
Taurus. You told me this already. So I'm a Pisces. So I'm very dreamy, and I live in my own mind a lot of the times. And especially when things would get hard being younger, I would kind of escape into like alternate realities as far as like books and music and movies. And I've just always been very interested in energy and just magic. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the spiritual stylist comes from me just working on myself and finding different ways that I could kind of cope and like be in the real world. Because as far as, you know, I'm obsessed with astrology too, as you can tell.
I love that. I'm just learning about it now. So I'm like, I don't know much about Pisces, but
yeah. So yeah, we're very like dreamy, and we live in our minds and we're creative and it's great. However, it's sometimes very hard for us to like live in the real world. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. It's just like all the woo woo, and I love yoga. I love crystals, just all that. And it's really stemmed from a lot of self-help and like self-improvement. And I found so many ways to just be a better person through like spirituality. And I don't mean religion. I don't not like religion of certain religion. I mean like a girl sitting with a candle and some tea and meditating. Like that's my jam.
I love that. I love that. And was there like a certain moment in your life that brought you to that place of like, I know for me, I went through a divorce and that led me to like being more introspective and seeing,
Mhm.
what my life, like kind of just being more self-aware. Was there a point for you where this kind of went, oh, I've been looking through this lens and now I want to look through life through this lens?
I just got chills because yes, I had I don't know like what you call it, but people who are into astrology call it like a Saturn return. It's basically when your whole life gets effed up and then gets better right after. So everything blew up at one point. So I was 30 years old. So this usually happens for people between 28 and 30.
Oh my
And
gosh, mine happened at 28 when I got divorced.
yep.
Right.
That was your Saturn return, girl. Like
Okay.
it's so crazy. So I'm also gonna someday be an astrologer. So let's just put that out
Ooh.
the manifestation universe right now.
Yeah.
So I my whole everything blew up. So I start from the beginning. I was working at this job at a salon. I was always like the art kid in high school, pictures, painting, all that stuff. And I'm now, whatever, graduating hair school. I'm working at this place. I'm learning a lot. I'm an assistant. I jump right into doing hair. All of a sudden, a few years pass. I'm like totally booked. Everything's great. I'm not feeling like um, I'm at a salon where I could be myself, dress like
Mhm.
myself, just be,
Right.
in general. But that was kind of like the thing back in the day. Like it wasn't like about finding your tribe. It was about finding a great job and
Accepting.
learning, yeah, and doing great hair. I wish it was kind of more about that, but even if it was, there would not be a salon around here that would have been my vibe at all. So
Mhm.
I'm at this place. I'm very young. I think I started working. I think I graduated hair school when I was 21, and I don't know. I just was really busy and constantly booked, double booked. I had an assistant. Everything was cool, but like I just was not feeling happy at that time. And I'm very open about this, so no you know weirdness, but like I do suffer from depression, and I
Mhm.
always have. It's just a thing that I've dealt with pretty much, since I feel like it always hits you when you're a teenager. Like you're not like a little kid who has it for the most part, but in my
Yeah.
teen years is when it really started to kick off. And I was just like feeling worse and worse there. I'm just not feeling myself at all.
Yeah.
um the person that I worked for was very intense, to say it in a nice way,
Mhm.
and she was just really hard on me. I've always tried to be somebody who I'm not, in the way that, being on time, waking
Yeah.
up early in the morning, like
Being on time.
being on time in life. I've gotten fired from jobs literally because I'm late all the time. But and I always felt bad about myself. Like I always felt like I'm not good enough. Like I suck at
And
everything.
like all this stuff about how to be a successful person, we're like, oh, we need to get up early and make our bed and have this smoothie and work out before 7 a.m. And I'm like, that's
Exactly.
bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I just felt bad about myself. And like I'm not the kind of person who like has this like traditional way of being. Like I dropped out of high school. I didn't graduate. I always felt bad about that too, until recently, of course, because I'm developing spiritually, and I'm now know that everything happens for a reason. And if I graduated high school, maybe I wouldn't have been where I am, and whatever. So
Mhm.
I'm at this salon that's not working for me. Super depressed. This boss is so intense, like type A personality, like always like saying things to bring me down. It was crazy. Also, side note, in a toxic relationship at the same time with like this way older guy, doesn't really matter, but super not a good.
I feel like this is just like parallel my life, just a little different of a story. But
I literally felt that, and I don't know your whole story, but I literally felt like I was gonna tell my story and you were gonna be like, girl, same. And like, I don't know why. I just feel like we're like kindred spirits in a way.
it's so funny that we haven't like fully connected yet. Like it's obviously just the timing hasn't been like this is the timing now.
Right. And that happened for a reason too. But yeah,
Yeah.
like totally. So basically, I'm in this salon and it's New Year's Eve. And I'm like, okay, so this is like New Year's Eve 4 or 5 years ago.
Mhm.
Has to be five. I don't know. I'm bad with numbers too. Can we
Okay.
just say everything we're bad at? I'm just joking.
Yeah. This is the bad that we tell all bad at podcast.
Just admitting all your faults right now.
I love
But
it.
so it's New Year's Eve and it's Saturday, and I'm like, yes, like we're getting out of work, like let's go. We're gonna like go out somewhere, maybe cool. I don't know. So my boss is like, hey, I have to talk to you, and I'm like,
Oh,
her
that's the
same.
worst.
And I'm like, okay. So she sits down and talks to me. She opens this whole letter, this whole page of all these reasons why I'm a toxic person, and I'm just sitting there like listening to the whole thing. She's reading it off a piece of paper. And I'm like, am I though? Like, I always have tried to be a good person my whole life. And this person is literally telling me what a shitty person I am. And I'm like, oh my God. And she wasn't even firing me. She wasn't even like wanting me to leave. Like, she was just like telling me all this and like telling me that like all the other girls didn't like me in the salon and they were over me and like all this stuff. So I'm like, what? Where am I? Okay. I'm like
Yeah.
9 years old at this point. And I'm like, why am I feeling like I'm in high school? What is going on? Go home crying.
Yeah.
I cried all night. I didn't go out for New Year's. I'm starting the year this way. And I'm like, what the hell? So I literally cried all night and I was just like, I don't even know like what to do. Like I feel lost. And I felt like this before. Like there's been times where she's like done things that would make me feel really awful in the past, like just saying like that the way I do things, and I don't know. It was crazy. It was super abusive, like a verbally like abusive,
Yeah, I was gonna
emotionally
say,
abusive.
and funny how like I don't know about you, but like sounding like you had a romantic toxic relationship, and how
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had that aha moment where it's like I purposely sought out toxic relationships and workplaces because it confirmed this feeling in myself that I thought I was no good. So
Yep.
if people were, and it's like it's not even their, I think it's like the piece that comes with like it's not their fault per se. Like everyone has responsibility for who they are, but like I
Right.
sought this out in one twisted subconscious level of like I
Yeah.
want better, but I keep picking not better because this confirms my lack of self-worth that I have.
100%. And I was just going to say, yes, a lack of self worth. I've had that because I don't know why we have this, but maybe it could be like some kind of childhood trauma or, whatever the case may be. But like, I've just always had that. Oh my God. I had a blog in high school and it was called A Worthless Sense of Belonging. So this is my life right now. Okay.
Ooh,
Depression,
that just gave
emo
me
kid.
chills.
Like I should have been in an emo band. Like that's a really good emo band name. But yeah, like, I'm so glad I'm not there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking about it now. But yes, you're right. Yeah. And I totally was seeking things like that. Hindering my success. Almost what do they say when you act small, then you are small.
Yeah.
And you let yourself take up space and be big and
It's like
shine in your
self-fulfilling
light.
prophecy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So woke up the next morning and I was like, are we allowed to swear on here?
Yep.
I was like, I'm fucking done. And I said, universe. And I'm already in the woo woo because I've been watching The Secret on DVD for like years already, reading the book. And I'm like,
I remember that
universe,
came out.
right? Me too.
But when that came out, I was like, because I don't know if you know my past with religion, I was like in deep with like religion. And so I was like, this is the devil.
Oh my God, yes. I feel like so many people thought that too. But like I were actually worked at a bookstore when it came out and I was like, what are these people doing? So I didn't like jump on it from day
Yeah.
one, but down the road I was like, okay, like what is this all about?
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm like, universe, I am done. Send my new path my way. I cannot work at this place anymore. And here's the catch. I was so scared to leave because there was a non-compete. So basically I don't know if you know Connecticut at all, but it's not a big
It's
state. And
tiny, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, it was, I don't know. I just thought like I was stuck there for some reason. And then that was my spiritual awakening.
Non-competes are such a scarcity mindset for an owner.
Heck yeah, they are. I would never.
Never. I just saw, I think it was Destroy the Hairdresser, maybe.
Mhm.
That was like why like you should be supportive and excited for your staff if they move somewhere else because a
Yeah,
non-compete just like makes you small.
it does. And also, why would you want someone to work for you who doesn't want to be there?
Exactly.
Don't you want I can this is a topic I can just go
Yeah.
on. But
Next
yeah, like
episode.
yeah. But yeah, you're right. It is. And when you act from a place of scarcity or like fear, probably the worst thing you could possibly do with your life. But I thought I was stuck at this place. But I made a conscious decision and I said, I'm done. I'm done.
Mhm.
Where's my new path? I'm ready. Show me signs because I'm there.
Yeah.
And I ended up, working there for January and then end of February is my birthday. Went out for my birthday. The next day, got dumped by my toxic relationship. And I was like, okay, universe, Jesus.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the most amazing person that I could ever be with. And I was completely wrong because I was seeking out like the bad. And once he was gone, then everything else bad left my life. I
Yeah.
didn't, and it was the universe like slapping it out of my hands like a baby who's like trying to eat something bad and just slapping it out of my hands. And instead of me like making the decision myself, I think it was just past the point where I had stayed too long in all these things and everything was ripped away.
Mhm.
And I was just kind of sitting there like, what's next? And then opportunities started to drop by themselves. And that's how I found my next job where I actually kind of became a balayage specialist. And I was doing balayage, but like my boss at the time was telling me that it was stupid and I was never going to make money from doing balayage because it lasts too
Yeah.
long. And I was like, okay. And so I became an educator. I traveled around the whole country teaching. I then from there, I just, went off on my own with Meg. We went to a suite. Everything good started happening. I found my husband, like no joke, that year later that year. He just
Mhm.
showed up from a dating app and he asked me to marry him 5 months after that. And
Wow.
we're married. I have a successful business. I'm an educator. I don't know, like everything changed once the toxic shit was out of my life. And that was my spiritual awakening to be like, this positive mindset, all these things, these work, and I'm never going back again to being in that negative.
Yeah. And we keep ourselves in it for so long thinking, well, at least I know it's predictable. At least
Comfortable.
yeah, comfortable. Like I know I hate this, but I at least know what to expect. And I've seen that's like one thing I'm really glad that I haven't stayed in things. I'm like, you know what, this could go way worse, or maybe I don't find another job, or maybe I don't find another person. But will I be happy staying here? And I've always operated my life on like, I don't want to look back and go, I wish I would have just tried.
Yes,
That's my biggest
exactly.
fear. And
That's
so, have I had a lot of failures along the way? And I always say, like, professionally, I've had a lot of successes. Personally, I've had a ton of failures. And so, it's easy to just see like the one side of things. But I've seen people stay in jobs and in relationships that they hate, but they're too scared of like, well, what if I leave and it's worse? And
yes.
what if that breaks my heart for them?
Yeah, and
Especially like,
especially like when it's like a financial situation. For me, I was like, and my situation was I was very reliant on the money I was making there, even though it wasn't like super a ton of money or anything like that. I was actually just getting an hourly paycheck. I wasn't even making commission, but it was predictable
Mm-hmm.
income that I was scared to lose because I had already been living on my own for a decade when I was 28 years old. So it was just I needed it, and I when I if I could go back, like, you know that question, if you can go back and tell yourself anything,
Yeah.
do not live because you need the money. Like, the happiness should be the first thing. And I stayed in that job. If I even told you, you would be like, oh my God. I stayed so long. It was crazy.
Yeah. So, because I know we were talking a little bit about like, and you shared like depression and anxiety. Was there a component? And I asked this because I know I've been here is like, well, when I was working in a salon and I was miserable, my boss wasn't supportive. She was being more friends with the staff than she was being a boss. And I was like, well, I want to have my own business, but like my whole life I've been told I'm like scatterbrained and I'm not clean and I'm not tidy and I'm not organized and I
Mhm.
sleep in too late. And I felt like I had been put into this box by other people and myself of like lazy, scattered, like all those things I just listed. And I'm like, well, I have these dreams, but like I'm terrified. How much did that your like depression and anxiety and mental health play into fears and successes for you?
Well, so I'm the exact same way as you. Like, everything you just said describes me. Scatterbrained. My therapist has recently told me that she thinks I have ADD. That makes total sense to me. I can't remember anything. I have, like, my biggest thing I'm working on right now is organization to better my business. But I was always told those things. I like was fired for being late from jobs. I'm not like that perfect in the box person. And I've
Mhm.
always tried to fit myself in there and I never could fit. And I always felt bad about it. And I think that actually contributed to my depression a lot because I was living in this life where I didn't fit in.
Yeah.
I not until I not the therapist I see now, but the one before the one before, she was like, why do you have to be a morning person? Why do you have to be a neat and tidy person? And I'm like, what is she
Good.
talking about? Like, these are the things you have to be successful. I don't know. What do you mean? And then I had this amazing business coach a few years ago, Brittany Carmichael. You've heard of
Oh
her?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love her.
Love her. And she was like, Mish, you're changing your schedule. You're your own boss now. You don't work till 12. You don't work till, like, literally afternoon. You come in for work. And I'm like, oh, I can do this. And she's like, you could do anything you want. And I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, and you're hiring a housekeeper because that's not your strong point and that's distracting you from what you need to be doing. Done. And not until that recently I realized I don't have to be this person in a box who's a morning person who wakes up and, has this complete other, life that's perfect. I don't know. I was just not that. And that's contributed to a lot of hardship for me. And I'm done with that life. And I just work my life around my personality.
Yeah, it's funny because you just reminded me of this like Instagram reel I wanted to make because everyone's doing like my morning routine, wake up at 5, have my coffee, go for a walk. And I'm like, I want to do a morning routine one where it's like, get out of bed at 10, sit
Yeah.
on the couch till noon, and like check my bank account and it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because really, it's funny how, and like, there's so many of us that are the same this way, where it's like, why is it just like certain people are being louder and saying, like, this is what success is, and then everyone's buying into it. So, like, even people who don't fit in that, they're like, okay, now it's kind of like the Instagram thing, like, I need to show off that I'm a morning person and go for a run every morning. And
Yeah.
it's like, wait, like, this doesn't equate to anything. It's all bullshit.
Yep, exactly. And it's so funny that we're talking about this because I literally just posted about a morning routine this morning, and it's the first time that I've like had one. But my morning routine is not going for a run and waking up
Yeah.
early. My routine in the morning is doing something for my mind, doing something for my body, and doing something for my soul. Doesn't matter what it is. It might, like, literally could be listening to an audiobook. It could be listening to a podcast episode. It could be like, I do like to meditate because I feel like that helps a lot with mental illnesses. But like, I can't put myself in a box, and I can't commit to like anything.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm commitment phobic.
Same. I like, even having plans freaks me out. So like, not to like blow this up, but like, you just asked me to do this a few days ago, and thank God you did, because I probably would have been anxious about it and thinking about it for like however long it would have taken us to do this. So thank you.
And there's the other component of, as I've been growing my business in the online world, being like, I need to have everything scheduled out so it's perfectly planned. And I'm like, I don't think I work well that way. And
No.
like, maybe it hinders me in some ways. Maybe I don't get as much done, but like, at least I'll enjoy my life. And like, satisfaction for me has to be like number one. Like, I have to love what I'm doing
Yes.
rather than just like trying. Like, I'm not a seeker of being the best. I'm not a seeker of, like, everyone loves to be told they're amazing. Like, of course, external validation is great, but like, that's not my number one thing. Is like, I have to have fun with what I'm doing.
Yeah. And I say that too, and just be happy and comfortable. That's
Yeah.
like, and I want to do big things. I literally have on my vision board, I will do big things, and I will, like, but I'm not the kind of person that can just like work constantly. And I didn't know that before. And I would burn out all the time really fast. And I didn't know why. I didn't know why I was living with such bad depression all the time. And, you know, it's just like, it blows my mind to think of just all these people that work 9 to 5 jobs, and they don't have the option to tweak their schedules. And I think maybe 2020 has shown them that it doesn't have to be this way all the time, but I just can't. I can't work that way. What I was going to tell you, so I was at this business summit, and it was like a conscious business summit yesterday. And I asked a question, and it was, have you ever heard the podcast Almost 30?
Yeah.
So it was Krista from that podcast, and she was talking about workflow. So I asked her, I was like, how do you create workflow when you have such high highs and low lows, and you don't have I'm a very low energy person personally. I don't know if that's normal. I've talked about that to a lot of people, and no one seems to be alarmed by this medically, but I'm just a very like low energy person. I have times where I'm like, yes, let's do this. And then I have a lot of times where I'm just like, just very low key, and I just don't feel like doing a lot.
That's when I'm like that, when people like give me a gift and I'm like, thanks, I really like it. And like, I genuinely do. And people are like, you hate it. I'm like, no, it's really great. Thank you. And like, I'm not super expressive.
Yeah, that's how I am too. Like, and it's funny because I don't know, I think I've gotten a little bit more, but like, that's definitely how I am too. Cause I'm just like, I don't know, I grew up like really shy and like reserved.
Me too.
But I don't know. It's just, so this is what she answered me back. And she was like, first of all, do not feel shameful for being this way. And I was like, whoa. And she was like, I'm actually this way too. And I'm like, this girl's successful. Like, she's really successful, and she has a lot of different like streams of income and like whatever. And I'm like, whoa, okay, cool. Like, I feel so validated already. She hasn't even answered my question. And basically what she said, she was like, when you have those highs and you have that flow going, try to recognize what you did before that to give you that energy, but also take full advantage. And this is like true. This is what I do. And I always thought like this was the wrong way to be. But I remember putting together my website last year and just staying up till 4 a.m, like, yeah.
Because you're in it and you're like, I'm rocking this.
And you just go until you don't have that anymore. Because I feel like that even with stupid stuff like cleaning my house or getting things done. If it's like, I'm a night owl, but if it's like 11 at night and I'm just like, I can do laundry, let's do it. I have to take advantage of myself and that time and have the energy and expend the energy, because I know I'm going to have a low right after it. And I also learned this through human design. I don't know if you've ever.
I'm a manifesting generator.
See, I feel like everyone I look up to is a manifesting generator. I'm not. I'm just a manifester. I don't know what that means. I don't know a lot about it.
I need to learn more, but yeah.
Same. but yeah, so I've just learned that I'm just a person who has highs and then lows and then highs and then lows. I'm not a very like steady. So I have to work with what I have. And why is that wrong? It's not. And I'm glad that I can finally.
That's like when Nick and I first got together and he'd be like, come to bed. And like, he really wanted to like go to bed together at the same time and get up. And I'm like, I just don't work this way. And like, I have to stay up till 2 a.m. It's been a while. Like I am in more of a routine and maybe it's something with aging. I don't know. I'm turning 38
Yeah.
this year. But same, like I was working on my website and I was just in it. And this might be like a little ADD thing where it's like I get hyper focused. And when I'm inspired and when I'm doing something creative, I just want to be in it. But then, like yesterday, I was in the salon doing, making a YouTube video and I had so much fun. I came home and I edited the photos right away. And then this morning, I was like, I feel hit by a truck,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
spent.
That's
Yeah.
exactly how I feel. And it's funny because it's funny that you said that you almost like got inspired yourself. And I do that too. I had a coaching call yesterday and I'm still living. I mean, I'm sure we all do this, but even though I've been an educator for a few years and I'm very good with speaking to people and helping people, but I started coaching. So I had a coaching call and I was like in my head about it. And I was like imposter syndrome, so hard. And I'm like, oh my God, like whatever. And this is kind of what I want to do moving forward. But I had this coaching call, hung up with her, and I was like, I killed that. Like, I was like, that was great.
Boom. Yeah.
But like, it inspired me because I was like, I can do this. Like, this is something, whatever, but you have to grab those little moments of inspiration. And that might come from yourself, that might come from someone else, but whatever it is, like, you have to like just follow the things that inspire you. And that's something I've learned too. Like, take it where you can get it. And it's okay to have low energy days and not do anything.
Yeah. Like even just, I don't know about you, but like I shame myself for taking breaks.
Mhm.
And
I
it's
do
like,
that.
this is really important to go out for a walk or like, I've been doing my online business for just over 2 years now. And I was finding like, I need to be around people. I'm not an extroverted person, but I need the energy of people around me, maybe not even engaging with them.
Yeah.
So like going into the salon and like doing someone's hair, even though I don't need to, it just like helps me like feel rejuvenated.
I'm like that too with certain people. I have an assistant and she's also like my best friend slash pretty much sister at this point. Like, I grew up with her family basically. And she has like a type A personality where she's like organized and energetic and she gets shit done. And so I hired her to be my assistant. I was like, girl, I need you and you need to balance me out really quickly. And if I need in like some kind of energy, I'm like, can we just FaceTime? Like, can we just like clean our closets together? Or can we work on the website? Like, but we have to FaceTime though. So like, I totally feel that, like just having someone whose energy like lifts you up. And I told her that yesterday. It was so funny, but
There's
I
a
love.
Clubhouse room. I've been so off and on Clubhouse. I'm still not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. But there is an ADHD Clubhouse room where it's literally just music playing, but you see that there's like 100 other people just working. And it helps me so much knowing that like I'm yeah, like I was just even thinking, I'm like, hey, Mish, if you ever want to, like, we can go on Zoom, mute our mics,
Yeah.
and just get shit done. Cause I just knowing that I think my thing is like knowing that I'm not missing out. There's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not the only one like sitting here like,
Yep. That's totally a thing. I feel like I would definitely interrupt you and be like, what are you doing?
yeah. Or I'd be like, oh my gosh, look at this meme. Like I need to be able
Yeah.
to like, I can set like 20-minute timers, but then
Yeah.
I need the distraction. And I've been working with Amy Mitchell, who's like a systems coach. She's amazing. And she's always like, what if, like, why do you think you need to be this way? And she's like, what if maybe multitasking is your superpower? So she's like, have two tasks you're working on. And so when you need the distraction, go
Go back
work on
and
the other
forth.
one. Yeah. And she's like, and maybe you actually work better. And I was like, this is so perfect. Like today I was like editing a video and planning my content. And I'm like, because I need that like constant stimulus. I
That's
probably need
that's
Adderall.
what I am. Yeah, literally, that's what I need too. And it's funny that you say that because I'm like somebody who I'll have like the TV on and then I'll be like working on something, but then like I'm also maybe listening to a podcast. I don't know, like I need I can't just like zero in on one thing and just,
I can focus better with distractions around.
that's how I am. So weird.
Maybe we're so high functional that
We're beyond the 9 to 5 people. We can't, we can't.
yeah, because like our brains need more stuff. And like I even find like doing like making graphics, I will not do it. Like if I need to make like Instagram graphics or like something for like Facebook or whatever, I'll drag my feet thinking it's not real work because it's fun.
Yeah.
And so I do it and then I'll do it in front of the TV and I actually get it done way quicker because there's like something if I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, this is like not hard enough because I enjoy it. And so it
That's how I am when I do stuff like that too. And it's funny because I'm a very creative person and I feel like you are too. And like I love doing that stuff. Like I've done like just made branding content stuff and I'm just like, I don't really like this. But it was so fun to make it. And I was like making 100 of them and I love doing that. But like I'm like so the creative person, but it's hard for me to do like the actual planning of how things are getting done.
Yeah, I like the dreaming, but the actual
That's what I like.
what's not implementing, but like execution of things. I'm like, ew.
Yep.
Like
Same.
I'm just like the big thinker. I have a really important question I need to ask you.
Okay.
Are you? I know I'm shifting gears here.
That's fine.
If you had to pick, would you pick chicken nuggets or would you pick nachos?
Chicken nuggets.
Yes.
Definitely.
Hey, we are the same person.
Yeah, definitely.
I always forget to ask. I'm like, that's like my one really important question that I ask on the podcast.
Yeah, just like not a nacho person.
No, not at all.
I mean, I can have them. They're okay.
Yeah.
But like nuggets every time though.
I know. I'm like, I like them 50-50, but I was talking with my boyfriend about it and I was like, I think if I had to give up one, I had to give up nachos just because nuggets are like so indulgent.
Oh, they're so
and like
good.
they have to be chicken McNuggets.
Oh, like any nuggets.
Oh, any nuggets, you're not.
Yeah, like I mean there's some that suck, but like I really like the Wendy's nuggets and I can't eat them right now, but I really like the spicy ones.
Oh, you can't eat them. Is it because of baby?
Yeah, I can't. I'm on a soy-free, dairy-free diet because she has sensitivities to those things. So I'm just gonna eat so many nuggets when I'm done. But I eat them. I buy them and I eat them at home, like the non-soy ones. So it's fine.
Oh, interesting. Well, one day when we get together, we'll have like a nugget meal together.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Mish, I feel like we could just keep talking forever. Like there's so much, and maybe you'll have to come back to the podcast if you're interested.
Of course.
Because we had a couple of things we didn't talk about poop, but I know we both like have like a love for talking about poop. So maybe next time we'll talk about that.
We'll just have a whole episode on it.
Yeah. But for people who want to learn more about you, get connected with you, be friends with you, creep you, where can they find you?
So the best place they can find me is on Instagram. It's at Mish, Mish Jolie, Jolie. I know that sounds kind of confusing, but it's like Angelina Jolie, but it's Mish Jolie. And you can also check out my website, mishjolie.com. Those are the best places.
Best places. Awesome. Well, if you guys are listening right now, go ahead and shoot her a DM. If you are watching this or listening to it, and take a screenshot and tag us both, we want to get connected with you. Thank you so much for coming and sharing so openly and honestly with us today. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh my God. Thank you for having me. It was a blast.
Awesome. Okay, I think Mish is my new best friend. She might not know it yet, but holy cow, what an inspirational person. I love the whole like being in flow and how much of us with anxiety, depression, ADD, like the anxious creative people, we feel like we need to fit into this box of what's quote unquote normal. That whole like 9 to 5, being organized, like, do this. And it's like, no, let's find our own flow. Let's go with what honors us. Isn't this the whole point of why we are creatives and why we do what we do and why we lean into what we do? And so I like this whole like breaking this box that we've, others and ourselves have put around us. So Mish, thank you so much. You guys make sure to like, subscribe, leave a review. That is the best way that you can give me a compliment and give us here at The Anxious Creative a compliment that you enjoyed this education and this inspirational content that we brought to you today. And also, I would love if you took a screenshot while you're listening, post it on Instagram, tag me, tag Mish at Dawn Bradley Hair or at The Anxious Creative Podcast. I love seeing you diving in your ahas. And like I said, that is the best way and the best way you can say thank you for this podcast. So I hope you enjoyed it. Share it with a friend if you did. We'll see you over on the gram. Until next week. And holy cow, next week's episode, make sure you're subscribed because it is going to be amazing. All right, we'll talk to you soon, friend. Bye-bye.